I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a general government meeting, I believe,
Vision Committee.
Vision Committee meeting. Thank you for that. I guess I should get to the right page. And tonight we're going to be hearing about the vac truck and the Charter Spectrum franchise. And could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Dennehy, absent. Councilmember Gonzalez,
Here.
Councilmember Jaquez, absent. Councilmember Reed, absent. Councilmember B. Smith, absent. Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick,
Here.
Mayor Smith, absent.
And I would just point out that tonight is graduation, and so we have some vacancies up here that normally wouldn't be there. So, Ryan, would you like to take over?
Yeah, I can get us started. Last year, City Council made a commitment to invest into, when we were going through the budget process, to invest in a new vac truck to maintain the existing storm sewer system. And tonight we have a presentation from Tony Felgene, our street superintendent, about that project, and give you an update on what they've accomplished so far and what they hope to accomplish as part of the stormwater maintenance program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan, Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Gonzalez. I've put together the figures from the start of the year on what we've cleaned to date. It was kind of a learning experience for us because we never had a machine that actually worked this good. So we'd always kind of been in a reactive type deal where we just went and we tried to put out fires. With the acquisition of the new vac truck, I decided to take a little more of a proactive approach. So I kind of put together a roadmap, so to speak, kind of like I did with my street sweeping. I divided the town into sections. The first section that we started on was at First Street, and we worked to the east to 9th between Main and College. We vacked all the inlets, the storm culverts, all of that. Once we got that done, we moved to 9th Street, and then we went from 9th east to 15th, also between Main and College. Once that's done, then we'll move back down to First Street, and we'll do between Main and RGB. We'll get all of them sections done to 15th. Once that's done, we'll come back down to First Street, and we're going to do everything that's underneath Royal Gorge Boulevard. My problem with that is I have to free up a couple other people for traffic control because this truck's so big, they can't get out there to adequately do their job without traffic control. So that's where we're at now. We're kind of playing with trying to get all that ironed out for the highway. We were able to go down East Main. We've got all of them done. And then they moved up on 5th Street, clear up on the north end, and we've got all that cleaned. I think it's been a real testament to the job they've done. Last year, we didn't get a whole lot of rain. We really didn't know what to expect. We had a lot of problem areas, as I'm sure everybody knows, certain areas of town. This last rainstorm we got Monday and Tuesday, we had 1.5 inches of rain. There was a couple places we did have a little bit of ponding of water, but come to find out it had nothing to do with the culverts. It was just some trash that had washed in on the grates and stuff. So I had 3 crews running trying to keep up with it. Remove all the trash off the grates, everything drained right down. So I've seen a big difference in what we've been able to accomplish so far. The 2 pictures that are included in your packet. In 2014, we laid a 36-inch elliptical storm drain on Reynolds, or on East Main, running from Reynolds to the east to Almost Roads. We had a lot of drainage problems there because it's so flat. We don't have a whole lot of elevation to work with. Well, the people that have water rights, they put a head gate in at the eastern end of it to back the water up so they could irrigate. What we found out was it wasn't long after that, they called me and told me our pipe's no good because they couldn't get any water whatsoever. So we went back in, and at every irrigation box, we jackhammered a hole in the top of the pipe. We put a sono tube in it, and then we installed a manhole on top of it so we would have access to clean out them points, because we didn't have anything that would clean that distance of pipe. When we did that, what we found out was because of the slow-moving water and the sediment in it, that 36-inch elliptical pipe was 1 foot from being totally plugged. That's how much material had been in that pipe for the last year and a half. With the acquisition of the new vac truck, that's what the 2 pictures are that are attached. That is that 36-inch elliptical pipe. After Derek and his crew went through, they vacked it, they flushed it, they vacked it, they flushed it. It took them about a week and a half. It's a good-sized pipe. But you can see the results of their work in the pictures. It was totally amazing. So at this point, I'd like to introduce the Stormwater Field Supervisor who's actually running the truck. This is Derek Holt. He might be able to answer some questions if you have them, but I'll leave it up to you if there's any information you'd like to ask.
So in addition to purchasing the vac truck, we also are manning it with a full-time staff, and Derek is one of those folks that are, you know, the supervisor, the lead on that truck. And again, that goes back to, you know, council making that commitment to have a full-time maintenance program for the stormwater system, and it really is, as Tony mentioned, it's paying dividends by testament of the storm that we had earlier this week.
And I would like to clarify, when I say crew, it is Derek and one other person. That is all they do. We did, as I stated, it was a learning experience. We was excited to get it. We was excited to use it. We found out very rapidly that we cannot take it out and use it unless it's 40 degrees and rising. With all the water that's on board of this, we didn't think that it would freeze up under that, but we was surprised that it did. But other than that, that's all. The 2 positions are dedicated to nothing but stormwater.
Well, that sounds pretty good. Dolly, any questions or comments?
Derek, this is a promotion for you, isn't it?
Yes.
That's great. Good job. So during the storm we had the other night, I didn't write down my question. Well, Ryan, the other day, or about a month ago, I had mentioned to you that there was some trash laying around from some people who had been out holding signs on the corner. And I was worried that a storm would come up. I think it was still snowing then, but a storm would come up and block some drains. That was on Orchard and Highway 50, or on
Fremont Drive.
Fremont Drive there. Have you noticed those kinds of materials that you've had to clean up quite often?
We did go clean that one once already.
Uh-huh.
And it's all the way full of the people that stand there panhandling.
There were bags of trash
Yeah.
and cardboard
Full
and,
food, full bags of food
uh,
that people drop off to them, and they don't want the food, but they set it
So-
off to the side. And
yeah. Are there grates at those down there?
no,
No, okay, so that's a concern.
them ones there just go across the street to the other side, though.
Oh,
Those
Just
don't
right
have,
across Orchard.
they don't have actual concrete inlets with grates. Them are just openings for the culvert.
Yeah.
okay. And then with moving 2 people off of the streets, have you noticed a lack of, like, not being able to get your work done?
No,
in
we're
your other
keeping up
department?
pretty good. We transferred some people around. One of the other staff member on the stormwater crew transferred from the water department.
Okay,
So I am fully staffed. As stated, my only problem is when I have to provide them with traffic control, then I have to take a person from the other crews to assist with that. So that handicaps it a little bit. But no, to this point, it hasn't affected any of the other crews whatsoever.
So, Councilwoman Gonzalez, so these are two new positions that we added. We had promotions or transfers within the city department, but Tony's other street crews remained whole.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then one more question.
Sure.
Not a question, I want to comment. After that storm the other afternoon, the difference was dramatic. It was so dramatic to drive through town after seeing what our past storms have been. So I want to commend you. I think that what you guys are doing is fabulous. Maybe in the future, there's a way we could proactively go check those grates to make sure that they're not clogged before a storm comes.
On that there, a lot of it was just branches and leaves that came
Okay.
down from the gutter, curb and gutter,
Okay,
and it covered up and make them like a mat, so the water couldn't filter through it fast enough to
okay,
get
yeah,
in it.
that's,
Once we got it cleaned off, then it was,
then it went.
yeah,
Good. All right, well, good job. I'm glad to see that the investment that we made is paying off.
yeah.
And you can get a first flush effect, that even though there might not be
Yes.
anything on that grate, you know, the rain will bring a lot of stuff down there.
Right.
And hit that. But I did, as I mentioned, Monday, I did some driving during some of the heavier portions of the storm. I was on 15th between Main and College, and boy, all of those inlets were just, it was just like there was a vacuum on that water pulling it in. It was really great to see it. And the important thing to remember here is that this truck, and this is for people that may be listening, this truck is not the cure-all for our stormwater management problems in terms of quantity. We've got other things we have to do, but this is by addressing some of the pipe restriction issues throughout the town, this will improve things overall. And that's a good thing. It's not a cure-all, but it is a great improvement, and it is a necessary and appropriate part of what we need to do to address the overall stormwater quantity issues that we've got. I see we've got Kim and Amy in the audience. Would either of you like to ask a question or have something on your mind you'd like to? Okay, yes.
Not to put you on the spot, Tony. And if I am, I'm sorry. You put that we've cleared 4.71 miles of storm drain already
That's to date.
to date.
Yes.
What is the overall size of the system? Can you remind me, please?
About 22 miles of culverts. That's storm drains and also other irrigation culverts that are crossing underneath incorporated roads.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to extend an invitation to anybody that might be interested. At any time, if somebody would like to watch the actual operation of this vac truck, please get in touch with me. We can get it set up, we can go out, we can give you a demonstration. You can see the actual workings of the truck.
Great. That's a great invitation.
And we do have an initiative that we're working on where we will be doing some video and some kind of a day in the life of following around some of our crews and posting that to social media so the public can see the workings of the crew and equipment like this.
Hopefully this day in the life doesn't extend to council members. Anything else, Ryan?
Not on this one.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. And I do want to see how the vac truck is working and some of the details on it. And so I will be trying to get in touch with you, or just if I see it out and about, I'll stop by and take a peek.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And with that, we're Now moving into the Charter and Spectrum Cable Companies franchise discussion.
We are. So the franchise for Charter Spectrum is is it expired at the end of 2020?
Yeah, December.
Yep. And this is the renewal contract, or the renewal franchise that will come before council. We do have the proposed language that's in here and has been negotiated with Charter, as well as what you're seeing from the old Charter franchise as well. So that both of those documents were in your packet. The big change that you will see in the new franchise is removal of the PEG fee, which is the public access channel that was 50 cents per customer. And one thing that we as staff are proposing is, since that PEG fee is going away, increasing the franchise fee by 1% from 3% to 4% to make up for the loss of that revenue. That PEG fee covers a lot of things, a lot of the audio visual in this room, how we project and go out to the public through channel 191 and the different equipment that we use to do that. I think, Elijah, do you have anything else that you want to add regarding to the PEG fee and some of those negotiations?
Yes, so with the PEG fee, or the reduction of the PEG fee in the latest iteration of this agreement, the other reason that we're also requesting a 1% franchise fee addition is because we're going to have a transport fee put on us by Charter. We have to pay for the signal fee, to high definition signal, going from here where we generate content for channel 191 up to Charter's head end. So that should cover ongoing monthly recurring costs for any transport fee that we're required to send to Charter, as well as the lost PEG revenue for 50 cents per customer. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. There were some alterations on Exhibit A at the end of the agreement for comp accounts for cable television accounts. Mostly includes city locations as well as school district and some key locations around the county. Other than that, it's pretty similar to the original agreement that you saw come across.
And of course, a city attorney was involved in this process, and I don't know if Catherine wants to make any comments on any additional changes.
Sure, I just want to point out that the PEG, the 50-cent PEG fee it can only be used for certain purposes. And so it's actually probably to the city's advantage to shift that over to the franchise that can be used for anything related to the cable franchise. So, and then I think the second issue, we wanted to run past you tonight, since you've just recently had an election over a franchise. This is a different type of franchise because cable providers are regulated by federal law and are not considered public utilities under state law. And so the way that your charter reads, it's only public utilities and their franchises that go to the voters. So you are able to just approve this franchise if you so choose. You can refer it to the voters. You're certainly allowed to do that. But we wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, if you had any questions about that, before we bring it to you, obviously, at a council meeting. So we know which direction. I know there's only two of you, but which direction the two of you would like to go in.
So any?
And I'm happy to answer any questions, sorry.
Yes, thank you. Any questions, Ollie?
The increase from 1%, 2%, 3%, did he say 4%?
We would be going from 3% to 4%.
3 to 4, okay.
Do you, and let me jump in here too, Dolly, do you have some dollar numbers on that? What we're currently is being paid and what we, expectations?
Yeah, the current PEG fee generates around $18,000 per year. A 1% increase would be about $36,000. So it's a little bit closer to double, but we are expecting some additional expenses that we're going to have to in maintaining the system.
Okay?
And I should also mention that this franchise agreement includes a section for a high-definition feed, which was the transport I was referring to. In the previous one, we did not have that. In previous iterations of this agreement, we went back and forth with Charter whether they wanted to include a high-definition feed for the city out to customers in the agreement. Finally, in this one, we did land on a feed out to Charter customers with a high-definition feed, which will allow us to generate a lot of the content, like Ryan was referring to, with a life in the day of a city employee or councilman or councilperson. So that is an important part of this franchise agreement to renewal, is that we will have the ability to upload high-definition content and get it out to cable customers.
So right now, the Channel 191 signal is not HD, is that correct?
That is correct. It's standard.
And will this franchise change that?
It will. So there is a stipulation on the city that we generate enough high-definition content to request the feed, which we are working on, and we do have a little bit of a head start on that. In the agreement, we have to request Charter, we have to provide a written request that they give us that high-definition feed, in which they will turn around and provide it to us. We have to purchase the equipment to get the signals to their head end, and then from there, we can generate as much content as we want, and the definition of the channel will make a very large difference.
And so that means our current cameras are not HD, is that correct?
The cameras are, that was part of the initiative that we upgraded the council chambers 2 years ago with all of the high-definition equipment you see today. Unfortunately, with the modulator we send the signal out on, it gets reduced down to a standard definition because they can't handle the high-def feed.
Right.
So we have the internal equipment here in the council chambers to record at high definition. We just don't have the sending equipment to get it to them.
But this new franchise will change that? Is that, do I understand that correctly?
Correct.
Yes, and so that means that we will have to purchase some new equipment?
Yes, that is correct.
To make that happen?
I apologize, I didn't read this beforehand. How long is this charter for?
Believe it's a,
Or franchise, I'm sorry.
I believe it's a 10-year with an option for another 10-year renewal.
Okay.
Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's a 7-year with a 5-year renewal,
I was
so
wrong.
possibly a total of 12.
Okay.
The last one was 20, I
Yeah.
believe. So you'll see the trend, we're shortening those times.
That's why I was
Okay.
confused. I was trying to scan through it quickly. I don't read quickly. So then, it also says it can go as high as 5%. Do we see that? Would that have to require a vote from council if it were to go up
The
to 5%?
franchise fee?
Huh?
The franchise fee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think by statute, that's the max that it can be, is
Yeah, that's
5%. I don't know that we would be changing, that franchise fee. 4% is plenty to get us where we need to be. With cable franchises in general, we are seeing, or cable companies are seeing, a lot of people cutting the cord. So, some of that revenue and franchise fee over time, the trend is actually decreasing over time.
I just wanted to make sure it couldn't be raised to 5%
Yeah, so
without knowledge.
our memo to you was written before city staff told us what that number was. So you can go up to 5 under the law,
Yeah,
but
okay.
staff is recommending 4. And so
Okay.
you would approve 4. So the agreement would not allow any
It wouldn't.
flexibility unless you amended it. And council would have to vote on that amendment. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Thank you.
And so this is informational and kind of the pre-decisional process that we'll engage in during the council meeting.
That is correct. So we're looking for feedback now, so before we bring it to council.
Okay, well, considering the fact that we don't have all our council members here, that may trickle in as we get closer. When do you expect this to be brought before council?
I think at this point, most of the major points have been negotiated with Charter. The one point that is still, we still have to inform them about is the franchise fee itself. So there'd probably be some communication with them, but we'd probably bring this back, probably the second meeting in June or maybe July.
And it would be by ordinance, so it'll come to 2 meetings.
Okay. What happens if Charter decides to go elsewhere? Like if somebody
If they
buys them
leave
out,
the
like,
city,
yeah,
the franchise terminates and they just go away. There's no, it's not like, like Black Hills, like there
Okay.
has to be a provider. You'll just be a community without a cable franchise, without a cable company,
okay.
yeah.
And in your packet, there's also, there's another ordinance in there. That's when Cablevision was taken over
I
by
saw
Charter.
that.
So
Yeah.
it's probably less likely that they would leave altogether, more likely that they would transfer, we'd have another transfer.
So the franchise would transfer to, and it wouldn't start over?
It's possible to transfer it.
Okay.
Yes, it's fine, yeah.
That's kind of what my question was. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay, but thank you for the additional information.
And I think another way to say that is that normal economic factors would not let a cable company just disappear from a town. There's people want cable
Yeah.
and want internet and are willing to pay for it, and so they're normal market forces should help a company step forward, that if there was a void, it would be filled pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The other piece of that is Charter's also an internet company, and they would probably stay in the area for internet. However, internet does not necessarily is subject to franchise agreements.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything further?
I do not have anything, Catherine.
No, I don't have anything.
I'll ask the question again. Kim or Amy, do either of you have any questions you'd like to ask? These are more informal meetings. We get run these, not quite so formally. So it's, if you have a question, please step up to the mic so everybody can hear.
Thanks. I did have, I guess, 2 questions. One, you mentioned that there would be an increase in costs related to this agreement, which is why you're suggesting the 1% increase, which would essentially double the amount that consumers would be paying. Could you explain a little bit more about what those increased costs are? I mean, is it the purchasing of the equipment to upload the high-def fee, or are they things that, that Charter is now passing on to the city that they didn't used to make us pay for, or kind of what are those changes?
Yeah, so there's a $5,000 upfront fee for the HD transport, and then $10,000 a year for the use of the HD signal.
Okay, so it's all related to the high def, and then that actually, like, that's 15,000, so it makes sense that you would need to go up to about 36.
Yeah.
Okay, and and I'm sorry if it was answered, but I didn't quite understand the answer to Councilwoman Gonzalez's question.
Mm-hmm.
So before, like, it's at 4%, and if it were to go to 5, it would first have to come to council
Correct. So yeah, it's, once we put 4% in the agreement and the agreement is approved by both Charter and council, it gets locked into the agreement. Unless it were to come back, it would have to be approved by council as well as Charter.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I would just point out that what this means, the 1% increase, is that if you have a $100 a Charter bill, that you pay right now $3 on that, and that this would increase that to 4. So it's not a doubling.
Well, and you're actually paying $3.50 because there's the additional 50.
Oh, the 50. So
cents.
So
it's a 50 cent.
so you're paying $3.50 and it would go to 4.
Correct.
Thank you for that. Gotcha. Any other questions? Then I think we're adjourned.